Welcome to Fight Fans Chit Chat. So, you probably know if you watched the videos before, I am a little bit of a fanboy when it comes to Billy Joe. Now, I know there's been some negative media of him recently and all this bullshit that the BBC likes to put up and all that, but at the end of the day, he's one of the best British boxers I personally believe to ever come out of Britain, and he is up there, I think, top three with the best British boxer alive right now and active. That's my argument. And I think he's going to batter the Mexican. And I think he's taking pound for pound number one. You got my opinion. I'm getting it off early. What do you reckon?
Wait, let's get some details out first. So, like, they say they're going to fight May the 8th, aren't they?
Yeah, it's looking that way, yeah.
But I think Billy Joe has got the beating of him. I think he looked like incredible Canelo against Callum Smith.
Yeah.
He looks unbeatable, but I think the one person is Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe is all wrong for him. I'm not saying it just to like make you happy, but I do think the only thing that does annoy me is again they go into it and it's the inactivity of Billy Joe, and Canelo's going in fresh, fighting Callum Smith in December, and then he's fighting in February, Canelo, and then he's going to go on and fight in May against Billy Joe, coming like on form, fighting regularly, active. Mm-hmm. And then Billy Joe, was it November or December he fought Martin Murray?
December, I think. December. Yeah.
Well, no, that's like. And then he's gonna have to work. It's not that bad. It's only 5 months later, but it's still like that was the first fight in ages before that. He didn't fight for a long time before that.
Yeah.
So it's just. But oh well, I don't. As long as he gets to fight, and I think Billy Joe will win. It'll be tough, but if he's on form, I think he wins.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's kind of had this situation before though. If you think about it, but every time he goes in, and even when he has them warm up fights, I'll get more worried about him when he has the warm up fight. Because that's usually where he messes it up, or it comes really close, or it like he fucks it up. So
that's the brilliant enigma around Billy Joe, isn't it? Because everyone always says the better the opposition, the better he becomes. So you ain't gonna get better opposition of Canelo. And the thing is, in the build up to it, it's gonna be hard for you to listen to a lot of the media because a lot of people are gonna be like, Canelo's gonna win. Even if it goes to decision, Billy Joe is hard to win against Canelo. Because no one's going to take into fact how good is Billy Joe going to be against someone that good? Is it going to make him raise his game? We're going to see a whole new level of Billy Joe, which we both think he's got.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. That's what I'm excited about. Just seeing how good Billy Joe is.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a massive factor in it. I think we've seen the best of Canelo, and don't get me wrong, he's unbelievable, and I think if you're just going off record, then you got to put him at number one. I think the only other one who might have an argument is probably Terence Crawford, but that...
I don't think it comes close. Just the amount of divisions Canelo's won in. Was he 4 weight divisions he won?
Yeah. And
middle, super mid, and light heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. But I say that there's kind of a mountain. There's a mountain to beat with Canelo. You know what you've got to do to kind of get there. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy, and at times he does look unbeatable. But Billy Joe knows what he's going in for. I don't think you can prepare for Billy Joe. Because I think you've got David Lemieux, and David Lemieux never hit him, so you didn't really like. And fuck me, if you got someone that's that good where you just don't get hit, then how do you prepare for that? You can't and you think. And now I reckon he's going to be better because I reckon he obviously took David Lemieux seriously, but I think even in that fight he started messing about. So you're like,
that'll be funny as well. How hilarious would it be? Yeah. He's like Canelo, this big star, rated as the pound for pound number one in boxing, and Billy Joe starts doing that shit to him. But the only thing is, as a Billy Joe fan, you've got to be worried about. I'm a fan. I think he's going to win. I don't think he can stop Canelo.
No.
You've got to be worried about. Is he going to get a decision?
I think. It's virtually it's near enough impossible to get a decision against.
Yeah, he's got to wipe the floor with him. He's got to make it look. He's got to make it look where Canelo doesn't touch him once.
Yeah, but I think Billy Joe's got that in him.
Yeah, I
think that's what kind of makes it different. And he can make you. The worst thing about Billy Joe is he'll make you look stupid.
Yeah.
And whereas if Canelo beats someone, Canelo beats someone up. Billy Joe don't. Billy Joe embarrasses you. He makes you look like an amateur. That's how Billy Joe wins. So getting a decision against Canelo, if there's one person that can do it, it's probably Billy Joe. Everyone else is going to have to stand and beat him and fight him. Billy Joe don't. Billy Joe will play with him and make him look like a fool. But again,
even when Canelo fought Mayweather. Mayweather, I think, won every round, schooled him, and one of the judges gave it a draw.
Yeah. And I think it will be. You could see it being quite controversial this year.
Yeah.
ended up being one of them things where it's like, fuck.
But I know it sounds weird, but like probably business wise or money wise, for Billy Joe, it could work out well. Where if he does do such a convincing job and then gets robbed, everyone will be like, again, back in with Canelo rematch. Yes, even if he beats him, he gets a rematch. But I mean, if he beats him convincingly, many people will watch it then. Oh my god, this guy beat Canelo, who he thought was unbeatable, but he didn't get the decision, so everyone will be backing Billy Joe.
Yeah. Tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Joe won the fight and won convincingly. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired straight off.
No, I don't think.
You don't think he would?
No. I think he wants to fight everyone. He'll end up
who
he only had one big fight, has he?
Yeah, but who? Who does he go and fight? So you fight Canelo, who's the best, who's like top of the tree. Then the only other one, like, does he go back down and try and fight the Charlos?
No, I reckon then he has a unification with Caleb Plant, the other super champion.
Yeah, that's a good point. He always said he wanted to be out by 32, though, didn't he? So he's kind of overdoing
but then he's had so much inactivity.
Yeah,
it's not like he's full, was it? So, but
in terms of just going like to the actual fight, like the way I see him winning is just purely about the feet. I don't think Canelo can keep up with him. No, I don't think Canelo kind of needs you in front of him, and then he needs to be able to close the gap. Billy Joe will keep him moving, so he'll keep circling.
And he's southpaw as well, isn't he?
Yeah. So you're gonna be able to.
It is. It's intriguing because I think Billy Joe will win, and I want him to win, but you don't know like how good is Canelo? Well, Canelo just had to go there to obliterate him, catch him, bang, done.
Yeah, I hate bringing it up, but I'd love to see the VAR test.
But yeah, I'm glad he's finally getting a big fight. But I think the thing that intrigues me the most is the fact that there's a better Billy Joe beating. We saw the evidence of that when he fought David Lemieux. It's just a one-sided beating. So I would love it if he'd done that to Canelo. If it was just the same thing, it was just boom, bang, easy. Schooled him, and everyone's just like, what the fuck? Because you hear people talk about Billy Joe in the gym, they've seen him spar, and the way Tyson Fury talks about him, and they're like, another level. But he hasn't had the chance to show it in the big stage yet, because he hasn't been given the big stage. So imagine everything that they say is true, and he is pound for pound up there, and he's just one of them.
Yeah, I think if you look at Britain right now, I think there's younger guys that I think have got the potential to get there. But I don't think they can be a part of the conversation yet. But I reckon you got Josh Taylor, Billy Joe, and Tyson Fury. But heavyweights always struggle with kind of the pound for pound because they don't get the weight thing, so they don't work their way through the weight divisions. So but I think them three, it's got to be out of them three, which are the best British boxers in the world, and they're all three of them should be on the pound for pound.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But Canelo, rightly so and deservedly so, is number one. And then so it's a massive fight. It's up there with the best fight in boxing. I think a lot of people are underrating Billy Joe. I think a lot because of probably the stigma around Billy Joe. Like, not a lot of people like Billy Joe. But
I think it's quite a similar situation to back when Fury fought Klitschko. Because I know it's hard to think of it now because the way Fury's been about for so long since that fight and beating Wilder and everyone go, oh, he's unbeatable. But before that, no one thought Fury was going to beat Klitschko. Klitschko, you never win a decision against Klitschko. That was the fight everyone wanted in heavyweight. You want to fight Klitschko, and Fury got it, and then everyone was like, oh, it's good for Fury, but I don't think he'll win, but he'll give it a good go, and he won't get a decision there. And then he went there and schooled Klitschko. It's a very similar situation. And everyone was just shocked, and then that proved Fury's the same to Billy Joe. The better the opposition, the better he fights. He's just stepped up, flawless performance. I would love it. I would love it if he does it, and I think he can. I just hope. And the thing is, a bit of me as a Billy Joe fan, I'm asking you this: if he could fight this month to get one out of the way, and then fight Canelo in May, would you do that, or would you rather him just wait for me?
Yeah, I'd like him to fight now, and I'd like him to fight Andre now. Andre now. I'd love it if he ended up fighting Andre now. Or to be fair, even if he just fought his mandatory anyway, I think that can't. But even if he'd done that, I'd like him to have a fight now. It's always risky, but I think he'd blow through it. I think he'd just be. I think that would make him even better because of the fact that he would know what's in front of him, then he'd be match fit, and I think he'd just be better and better and better.
See, that's the thing, exactly, because now if he knows he's fighting in May, he's just got a solid, 3 months now on it. 3 months. Like February the 7th today. No, it's February the 5th.
Oh yeah, February 7th.
Today. So he's got like 3 months solid. Boom, prepared 12 weeks just for Canelo. So I think actually thinking of it like that, 12-week camp is what you'd have for a fight normally, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got another fight now. Fuck that. So yeah, I'd go straight through it. 12 weeks camp, solid, just preparing for Canelo.
Yeah, it's true. It does make sense. He the only thing is about the timing, isn't it? It's about the timing and match fitness, and yeah. But then again, December, 5 months. Yeah, it's not heartbreaking, is it? It's not kind of massive.
And then where they're gonna be? They said where they'll probably be fighting. Is it in Vegas or Texas where he fought Callum Smith?
It's looking like Texas, yeah.
So yeah, that's something. If I was Billy Joe now, I wouldn't fight, and I'd get out to Texas as soon as possible. I'd say like 8 weeks out or 4 weeks out from the fight, a month out, go out to Texas and get acclimatized, get ready, get a gym set up.
Yeah,
just give yourself every chance possible.
Yeah, he always goes Marbella, doesn't he? So he'll have to go Marbella for the next 6 weeks, and then go out there. Go out for 6 weeks in America. Huh?
Oh, I'd love it, mate. That's what this 2021's about. Get the big fights going, and Billy Joe does him.
Yeah. It'd be brilliant, though, wouldn't it?
But I love it more because everyone hates Billy Joe.
I know.
Everyone's like, he says the wrong things. He's rude about this, and if he wins, you can just go. Oh.
the irony, though, isn't it? And it could be a carbon copy. Like him and Tyson Fury have had like really similar sort of careers, similar sort of like kind of hysteria around them and that. So it could just be a carbon copy of what happened to Fury. He comes back, won the title. Now he's loved. Billy Joe ends up winning the title. Comes back. Yeah. Suddenly he starts talking about mental health and fucking.
Hopefully he doesn't beat Canelo, get top of the tower, and then just go spirals off like Fury.
Yeah,
he's gone for 3 years.
Yeah, but he has got that in him, isn't he? Fucking. Yeah. But no, he's I definitely think he's got it in him. I think it's a massive fucking task, but I think he's the only man that could do it. Apart from, maybe one of the Charlo brothers might have a good chance, but I think Billy Joe's the only one that's got a realistic chance at the moment.
Here's a question for you. So obviously, they both used to compete at 160 pounds middleweight, and obviously now they're both competing at super middleweight, and the fight's going to be at super middleweight at 168 pounds. Would you think this fight would suit Billy Joe better at middleweight, at a lower weight, or where they're fighting now at 168?
It's hard because. And the problem is how. See, then you kind of enter the conversation about how Canelo got to this weight. So it kind of makes it a different sort of conversation. But I think Billy Joe's better at middleweight, or better at 160. I think that's where he's going to be at his best. Yeah. You also got to think about the weight factor. Huh?
Is that where he fought Lemieux at 160? Didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And you got to think as well, the extra weight with Canelo, he's already slow. He can't move with his feet, so he's slow to walk. Yeah. So with the extra weight, you got to think that's going to go in Billy Joe's favour as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, when Canelo does get to you, he's going to hit a lot harder at this weight. But then again, like he constantly brings up the conversation, though, innit? How did he get to this weight? How did you get to the point where you're fighting light heavyweight? How is a fucking guy that started at light welterweight now knocking out fucking Kovalev? So it's
I get that.
Yeah.
But if we're both going for a Billy Joe win, and it's probably, I know people will be like, it's obvious, but how do you see Billy Joe taking a fight? Like, take me from early stages to mid rounds to late rounds. How does he process? Does he start off cautiously, or does he try and make a statement early and then box off the back foot, or does he go from the back foot from the start and just cruise for 12 rounds?
Yeah, I see him cruising. I don't think he'll go for it. But then again, Canelo's not really one to tire, is he? He kind of takes his time, figures you out. So I don't think Billy Joe.
That's the thing. Yeah. With Canelo, if you watch even Callum Smith's fight, with Callum Smith, surprised me so much because the size difference. You thought Callum Smith could dominate a bit, get the jab out, but he just walks him down, and walks at his pace. And they're like, it was kind of like he was going to Canelo's tuning. So they engaged when Canelo wanted to engage. They sat off each other when Canelo wanted to sit off, and then they moved around the ring. Canelo wanted to move around the ring. So it's like, if it's at his pace, but then the factors is it going to be different if Billy Joe schools him? For the first 3-4 rounds, he doesn't get a glove on Billy Joe. Billy Joe's looking flash, getting a bit confident, taunting him a bit, and then is Canelo going to have to start there and get forcing it, and then having to work when he don't want to work? Do you know what I mean?
That's what. Yeah, I think one thing he won't do is Canelo seems to have this opportunity in every fight where he kind of takes the stance and then it's like he's downloading his opponent. He kind of seems to have these sort of like 5-10 second breaks where he kind of like reviews what they're doing or reviews their like feints and reviews their thing. I don't see that happening with Billy Joe. I see every time there's a pause in the fight, Billy Joe will put his jab in his face. So it'd be bang. So he won't have that opportunity to download Billy Joe. But the match fit thing is always a problem as well. So I think that's what I see Billy Joe doing the whole fight. Every time he thinks he's kind of got to a point where he's downloading and Billy Joe puts it on him, jab, jab, jab. So I think he'll constantly be, I think he'll fight a bit like kind of in, out, in, out, in, out. It'll be like a gnat the whole fight. I don't really see it. Yeah. And I don't see Canelo being able to catch up with him.
Yeah.
So then you got to think, can Canelo close off the ring? I think Golovkin would have had more chance of closing off the ring than Canelo would. So
what, on Billy Joe?
Yeah, that corner in the ring, because that's the only way you're going to beat Billy Joe. You got to make the ring small. You got to stop his movement. But yeah, I think it'll be a Billy Joe's pace the whole fight. I think there'll be occasions where Canelo manages to get to him on the ropes and stuff, but I think he'll spin out. But that's what I think he'll do.
Billy Joe, isn't he?
Yeah.
He can get that. He's solid chin, mate. He's not someone who gets caught and just fucking goes. Touch wood. That's like fucking curse down. They get caught and go, but bit like the Conor McGregor video. But fuck that.
Yeah, that was a bit of an embarrassment.
That don't happen. But he has got a good chin. He can hold a shot though. But it's how we're talking about. Everyone will talk about how's Billy Joe going to cope in that big fight. How's he going to keep up with Canelo? How's he going to compete at that level? But how's Canelo? That's what I mean. How's Canelo going to react to Billy Joe, making him look like an idiot? If he's on form and he's slick, and every time Canelo throws, he's missing about a mile, and Billy Joe's giving it all that in the crowd. How's Canelo going to react? Is he going to be like, what the fuck?
I could see it being quite kind of unentertaining at times, depending on how much of a wind-up Billy Joe decides to be.
Yeah.
So I could see it being him just like Canelo constantly trying to get to him, and then him being on the other side of the ring, and then trying to get to him, and him being on the other side of the ring, and then so
like the fight, isn't it?
Yeah, so it could be quite entertaining, depending on if he winds him up in it. But I think the whole game plan will be to never let Canelo have an opportunity to sit still and review, or to sit still and like download his opponent. So it'll always be about just keeping him in a different direction, or keep him off balance, or keep him. But I don't think there'll ever be a point where Billy Joe will be standing in front of him. I think it will be constantly.
No, that'd be stupid.
So I just mean straight on. I don't think he'll ever allow it to get straight on. I think it would just be always angle.
Yeah, constantly moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. But the thing is like you said, there will be. I think this has got potential. It can turn into a dull fight. But I think as Billy Joe fans, if it's dull, it's going good for us.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what you got to remember, Canelo's the star. He's got all them people buying them pay-per-views, and they have people in the attendance. The people buying tickets for him. It pressure's on him. The pressure's on him to force it. And Billy Joe's the worst person to have that for, because he won't engage. He will just keep boxing smart, making you look stupid. If the fight's dull and people are getting bored, Billy Joe won't care. He'll be like, okay, cool. And it will be Canelo feeling that pressure from the crowd, like, shit, this is my show. I need to entertain. So it's all like, you just got to use every advantage for him. And like he said, the sad thing is, it shouldn't be this way, like the politics in boxing, but it is hard to get a decision against Canelo because of the money that he generates. Yeah. So it's got to be like a flawless performance from Billy Joe. But I do think he's got that in him. So
yeah, definitely. He's done it before as well. David Lemieux was flawless. I think that's probably the best. That's probably the best away win of a fucking in terms of like performance wise. Yeah. Probably, maybe Fury has an argument with Wilder, but it's got to be the best. Like just in terms of boxing ability and boxing masterclass, it's got to be the best performance ever.
Yeah, he made it look stupid.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon? How upset do you reckon Eddie Hearn would be?
If what? If Billy Joe
absolutely destroys him?
he won't say it. He won't say it because he can't say it. No, he probably won't, because he knows he represents Billy Joe, and then that means he's only got Canelo for this fight and the Billy Joe fight.
Oh yeah.
So if Billy Joe beats him, he only knows. Oh, I'm going to be promoting a rematch as well.
That'd be brilliant. Do you reckon he's had to? He must have had to sign up to a rematch clause, I suppose. Yeah, he would have had to.
With Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Well, but to be honest, as a fighter, the biggest money fighter is Canelo. So if he offers you the rematch, you're going to fight him.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're going to go stand back here.
Fucking Frank Warren's crying now.
But I'm going with. I think it will be. I don't know, it's the obvious one, but I think Billy Joe, decision, masterclass. Wins every round. He won't get every round on the judges' scorecards. They're corrupt bastards over there. But if someone watching it who isn't biased, he'll win every round.
Yeah.
Maybe lose a couple, and then that's it. Hopefully, he gets a fair decision. Fingers crossed. It comes away, gets the rematch, in a rematch, knocks him out of the second round. No, I'm joking. But first fight, I think he wins decision. Flawless performance.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I think he wins the first 6. Beats him in the first 6. Maybe loses somewhere. Maybe loses a couple of rounds between 7 and 10, and then and then just wins the last 2 and just flights around the last 2, giving it to the crowd. But yeah, I definitely think he wins. I think he's the only boxer out there that's got it in him. And up to Billy Joe.
Oh, here's a quick one for you. Sorry, just before we end it. So you know he's with Mark Tibbs now.
Yes.
As a Billy Joe fan, you love him. Would you, if you had any choice, and he worked with this person in the lead up to this fight, would you have chose Mark Tibbs, who's with now, Ben Davison, who was with before, or with Dominic Ingle? Who would you have out of them 3 take him into this fight? If you had your choice, and they had loads of they had the whole training camp together, so it weren't no like rushed. If you had to pick one coach he had for this fight out of them trainers.
I'm not a particular fan of Dominic Ingle, to be honest. I kind of think a lot of his fighters struggle with weight. A lot of his fighters end up going in there and they kind of say they've got a game plan, but they end up just kind of doing it on the fly. And then you got this whole hysteria.
He did take Billy Joe into the Lemieux fight, though.
Yeah, he did. But I think that was more about Billy Joe. I don't think that was about kind of Dom Ingle. I think because that was one fight, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So and then Billy Joe left straight after.
Yeah.
So you gotta think there's thing in that, and I think a lot of Dom Ingle's fights they kind of had this thing about the Ingle gym makes you awkward and makes you fight like
it's a very defensive, isn't it? Sheffield, they fight very defensive.
Yeah, and it's all about being awkward and stuff. But I think that's become kind of an argument now. Yeah, but we're awkward and we're defensive, and but that's not a game plan. That just means you're just awkward. That doesn't when you fight. So I think Mark Tibbs, I'm a massive fan of Mark Tibbs. I like the fact that he's going back to his roots. I like the fact that he's going back to his original training. Obviously, he started with Jimmy Tibbs, but Ben Davison. You got to think that Ben Davison and Mark Tibbs are probably really similar because that's how Ben Davison come up as well. But I'd definitely pick Mark Tibbs. I'm
the same. I'm with you on that. But I think Mark Tibbs is the best one. I know I'll give you because you love Mark Tibbs, and I'll give him stick to wind you up. But I do rate him a lot. I think Dylan White's where he is mainly because of Mark Tibbs. Well, a big percentage of Mark Tibbs, a big percentage of Dylan White's work. But no, I'm with you. I think Mark Tibbs is the best one for him. Plus, also because Mark Tibbs hasn't got any other massive people he trains. Like he trains other boxers, but they're not stars yet. So everything will be on Billy Joe. Which I think is going to be a big advantage. It makes him like the star of the gym, gives him that fucking confidence. But you're going with Billy Joe. Did you say decision?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Billy Joe decision as well. You guys, let us know what you think. Comment, subscribe. Let us know who's going to think win, Billy Joe or Canelo. Cheers.